Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We're
Week
back.
two.
Week
Week two.
two.
Happy Wednesday night, everybody. This episode will be out just in time for Thursday night football. So
Yeah. Exciting,
we've been,
exciting.
yeah, we've been definitely, at it, putting some stuff together. My guy over here has been helping us out with the topics. I've been doing my thing with the social media. So we're staying consistent, guys. We're staying consistent. That's the biggest thing.
For sure. And it was good to have week one come and just that Sunday. That Sunday felt like such a fall football Sunday. The weather was perfect. It was like 65, 70 with just that breeze. And I went to my uncle's house. We sat outside, put the TVs out, and
Yep.
it was awesome.
Yeah, me and Amanda, we went over to Ronnie and Dottie's house on Sunday and literally just had a whole afternoon with them. And I even got some time to fly a drone, which was pretty fun.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. Shout out to Sean. But yeah, so I mean, it was good. It was good. I was just telling Degs that I should be $1,500 richer right now. But that's another conversation for another day. But without further ado, let's go ahead and let's dive in to week two, and let's get things started. Before we do that, though, today is going to be a special cheers. Forgot to mention this last week. Our guy Degs bought a house. So today's cheers is to our guy Degs for this new venture and this beautiful home that you're gonna have. So
Appreciate that, man.
of course.
Cheers, buddy.
We're back to the hoop teas today.
Some hoop teas.
I think we just been like on the tea vibe the past
Yeah.
few weeks.
Yeah, it's been
So-
nice. Mm-hmm.
All right, so week one was interesting, very interesting, with some teams that came out firing on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
Some teams that we thought that were going to come out firing on all cylinders came out with a straight dud.
I know.
So give us a rundown, give us a summary of week one, where we're at with our picks. And
So I will say this: I did forget to bring the list of our record. So
No worries.
I will have to give you that. We'll post it on social.
yeah, that works. We'll update everybody.
I'll have you
on
that.
social.
So yes, that did not make my outline, but I will have it.
Yeah.
I will have it.
Well, I mean, we can
I
dive
do
in.
know. I do know one thing.
Yeah.
I didn't do great. I did not do great. There was a lot of misses on my end with. So obviously I had the Eagles losing and the Packers won that game. I had Carolina winning versus New Orleans
I had
Saints.
Carolina winning as well.
In New Orleans won.
I think I did too.
I think we both had the Bengals. Both had the Raiders. So there
Mhm.
was definitely there was a handful. I had the Titans.
Yeah,
So-
Justin, I don't want to hear your mouth ever again about, our Raiders are going to come out smacking them in the mouth.
God. Yeah, they.
More like y'all.
I
got
mean, the
smacked in
Chargers are
mouth.
not a very good team. So
But they did let J.K. Dobbins go off, so that was big.
and we will touch on that. But
will.
first game,
Let's go into the first
and
game.
maybe the funnest game of the week.
Yeah.
Buffalo at Miami, Thursday night football.
Yep.
So I'll start off here. So for Buffalo side, the first week here, Keon Coleman had a lot of good positive things, 90% of routes. Dalton Kincaid, he didn't have a great stat line, but same thing, running 83% of routes. So all good news there. We're not going to have Mostert this week for Miami.
Heard about that.
Achane is a game time decision. So Jeff Wilson and Jalen Wright could be options to plug and play if you have those guys on your team and don't have good viable options.
Yeah.
Tyreek went off after his whole situation before the game.
Yep.
He had just dropped 130 and a touchdown. Waddle had 109 yards himself. So the dynamic duo.
Yeah. Back at
Um,
it again.
That being said, I'm going with Miami in this. I
Yeah.
still think they just have more firepower. They're going to be home. They had a nice comeback win last week. They started off rough, but came back and won. So I got Miami.
I'm right there with you. I saw something the other day that the after game or the after getting locked up is like the new flu game. because Scotty Scheffler went off after he got locked up, and he went ahead and he won his tournament that weekend, and
Oh
then
God.
Tyreek Hill does his thing. Yeah, I mean with this game, I would think like, or I say that the previous years we would obviously be like, this is going to be a better matchup. Buffalo would probably have better defense. I don't believe in Buffalo's defense. I think Miami's offense is too strong for them, and I think that Tyreek is just going to go off again.
Right.
Yeah, Miami wins, but it's I think it's going to be a tight divisional game. So Miami is going to be, I think, on the top of that one. I'll say it's probably like around like a 24-21 or even like 24-17 type of game. I don't see it being like, it could very well go even higher than that, like high scoring, but I don't see it being like a blowout.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with Thursday night, a lot of times, both teams coming on a short week here, so I think that's in the advantage for it to be a tight game.
Yeah. Following week we have, or the next game we have after that. I need to get my words together. See, this is what happened last season when we were like recording and I was like all mumble jumbled. Next game that we have is Las Vegas at Baltimore. So we got the Raiders, the good old Raiders versus the Ravens. What you got for me?
So, Lamar had a pretty nice game. His opening game, he had 122 yards on the ground. The Ravens had 80 total offensive snaps, which is a lot. So it is a shame they didn't win that game, given that. I think the surprise, right, the pickup of the waiver wire today or yesterday, whatever you want to say, Isaiah Likely. He ran 69% of routes. Andrew ran 75%. So they're going 2 tight end sets. Like they're their weapons. They realize they're the playmakers. That's how it's going to be. Another surprise, Justice Hill played a lot. He outsnapped Henry 54% to 46. So now, granted, a little bit of the game script was due to that, right? Because they were trying to just stay with the Chiefs, but that's just some stuff to monitor. Something else to monitor on the other side. Mattinson had a lot of work last week. It's a timeshare there with Zamir White and him, and they're going to ride the hot hand. That being said, obviously, I got Baltimore here. Baltimore's home.
Baltimore looked rusty, and I felt like they rushed everything in the first game. It was really like frustrating me, like seeing Lamar run out there, and it's just like it almost just felt way too rushed. Everything was way too rushed. My hope is that they do get it together. That they start calming down and things start running smoothly over there. That team is too good to not.
Yeah.
A
lot of expectations.
Yeah, there's a lot of expectations over there. This is a game where they can kind of like calm down from the week 1 jitters,
right.
And now start playing. Yeah, just start playing ball.
Right.
Start playing ball. KC, I mean that's one hell of a team to go against. So
yeah,
I definitely thought that Baltimore was going to win that one, but. No, with this one, I think Baltimore takes Vegas for sure. Cleveland at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So far, I'm definitely was very wrong first week with Cleveland. Watson looked terrible.
Horrible.
I can't imagine that he's going to be. It'd be a complete 180, right? If he ended up being good. So we'll see. I think a big deal there is Njoku now. He looks like he could miss some time there.
Yep.
So they're bringing in some tight ends to kind of fill that spot. Some things to keep in mind: Elijah Moore, 93% of routes. That's huge. Consider last year he was having a hard time there. And then Judy, 79. So they know who their playmakers are there too. Jerome Ford too right now, at a usage standpoint, great. Then from Jacksonville, ETN, he had a costly turnover that kind of cost him the game, honestly. And then Brian Thomas, the rookie, looks fantastic. I think he's the best receiver on the team. That being said, being home, I have Jacksonville winning this game, getting their first win of the year. I think Cleveland falls 0-2, and I think my bold prediction is quickly leaving.
So with this one, I mean, there's not much really that I have to say about it. I mean, outside of like, I think Cleveland their defense is too good to go back to back with an L.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, flat out, I think Cleveland wins this one.
Okay.
Um, the one thing I was shocked about is that Jacksonville ran both of their backs the same amount of time, and
Yeah.
Tank Bisbee
Tank. Yeah.
had the better outing.
Yeah.
But I think that this is a game where once again it's like another team that they kind of like the Baltimore, where
Settle in.
Cleveland
Yeah.
can go ahead and like get themselves together.
Right.
This could be a game that you can climb back into the ranks and solidify yourself as the number one best defense in the league, because I still think that they are one of the best defenses in the league for sure. So I'm going with Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah.
Chargers at Carolina. Do we need to do this?
Definitely the stinker of the week. I'll just say some quick notes. Dobbins blew it up. Everyone knows. 135 yards, touchdown.
Thank you, Dobbins.
The one thing I'll say is he's injury prone. So I can see him having a hot start here. That rookie Kamani Vidal, I think he could really come out of the cracks here. On the other side, Young, I know it's only 1 week, but I'm ready to say he's a bust. I just don't think that he has it. I just don't. He has enough weapons now. He does. He has enough weapons. I think on that side, the positive for them is Leggett looked pretty good, honestly. Like he was the bright spot of the team. He had a solid debut. Chuba Hubbard's clearly the lead back there. I have the Chargers winning this.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not much. I'm going to just leave it at that. Chargers.
Some of those notes, they're just more so fantasy purposes, so everyone knows if they got to play these players.
I feel sorry for you if you have a Carolina player. Giants against the Commanders.
Yes. This is another one of the stinkers. Dan Jones, not good. He's not good at football. Devin Singletary controlled the snaps there on the running back. Malik Neighbors played 100% of snaps. On the other side, Eckler and Robinson, it's more of a 50-50 split. Now, they were playing from behind, so maybe Eckler played a little more because of that. Not really sure. Daniels, I liked his debut. He needs to some of the pass and stuff. He had pushed the ball a little bit more downfield, but 2 rushing touchdowns. And a surprise, Luke McCaffrey was second in routes run on that team. I was a little surprised by that. I have Washington winning this. They're home. I think Daniels is going to be too much for them, too dynamic for that defense.
Yep. For me, I think I have the same. I think Washington wins this one. Jaden Daniels, he looked good still in the opening game.
Yeah.
Was out there rushing and doing his thing.
Yeah.
So he looks good.
Yeah.
My bright spot for that team is Brian Robinson Jr. Brian Robinson Jr. is killing it. I mean, I have him in fantasy, and I think he's going to continue to be that bright spot for that team. Terry didn't have that much of that great of a game, but I think it's
all the peripherals are there.
It's due time that he'll have his.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a divisional game. I think that there's very much that Scary Terry could go ahead and have himself a good game. I think at least like he'll have 60 yards of receiving. He could very well have himself a tutty. It really depends, because I know that they like to run a lot, and they also have Eckler. That was
it's a great game for Daniels to test the waters. You know what I mean? Yeah.
San Fran at Minnesota.
Yeah, so San Fran, so the surprise was Jordan Mason was an absolute star.
Yeah.
He had 28 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown. He played 81 snaps, ran 70% of routes. So, I mean, I was thinking maybe Debo was going to almost be like the running back, at least in this game. Not the case. A cool stat, too, he saw an 8-man box 50% of the time, which was the most out of anyone week 1.
Wow.
That man did not care. Debo obviously has a big opportunity with CMC out too.
Of course.
Ayuk looked rusty. Definitely needs to get it together there for fantasy purposes. Vikings had a solid debut. O'Connell's a fantastic coach. That's just. I mean, I know they played the Giants, but still, I thought it was going to be a lot tighter of a game.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones looked great too. I have San Francisco winning this game. I just think they're too elite of a team.
I mean, San Francisco continues to show why they're in the conversations of being the favorites to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That team's just too good. Trent Williams played every single snap that game and didn't allow a single pressure on that side. That is something to be said about someone who's 36 years old.
Still best in the game.
The man deserves every penny that he gets. Mason was killing it. I mean, I was just like completely in shock with
but the eye test too. Like the eye test, he passed.
Yeah.
Like,
I did put my claim in for him and didn't get it. So, womp
I
womp.
think I got him.
You did? Nice.
I need him.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how that how that whole backfield ends up. I mean, I know that there's a drama now with whole him saying when
CMC with he's got tendonitis in his Achilles now. It sounds like.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So yeah, it's.
We'll see. I mean, hopefully CMC's back for my sane because
You
sanity. I have him.
Yeah.
Now Ayuk and Purdy, I think they're going to get back on schedule with their report.
I agree. You need a week to run the routes.
Yeah, there was just so many good plays that he just
that touchdown in particular he should have had.
The ball was right in his hands. I mean, so
he'll get
I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Debo continues to do his thing, and I think with this one, San Fran wins.
Yeah,
straight up.
Yeah.
Seattle at New England.
Yeah, so Kenneth Walker killed it. He hit over 100 yards and a touchdown. He is dealing with an abdominal injury, so something to monitor. JSN and Metcalf, their stat lines were good, but they are the two leaders in routes ran there, so they're the 1A, 1B. Noah Fant had a nice percent of routes ran, 69%, so I think he's more involved in this offense. On the New England side, not really much to talk about, especially on the with Brissett out there. The receiver group's a mess, if you ask me. Bright spot is Stevenson. Had a fantastic game.
Yep.
Now, granted, I do think a lot of it is due to script. No one expected them to be leading the game versus the Bengals. So because of that, that's why Stevenson got the ball like 25 times. But I got Seattle winning this. Seattle looked good.
Yeah. So with this game, I'm actually going to go off into the deep end. I'm going to pick New England at home.
Okay.
I know it's a dangerous pick. I had them losing in the first week against
Bengals.
Against the Bengals, right? I think everybody had them losing against the Bengals.
Yeah.
Geno barely helped his team beat the Denver Broncos. I get the Denver Broncos have, I guess you could say, better of a defense, but still, they're not like anything like a team, like a special team. I think just because of the fact that they're at home, that helps them. It's their home opener over there.
Yeah.
I think that stadium they're gonna get loud. They're hyped because they're 1-0 right now, and they have a chance to be 2-0.
Yeah.
So I think that New England shocks the world, and they open up the season 2-0.
I like it. Now I was having this conversation with some guys at work today, and that's what a lot of them were saying the same thing. They're like, man, like the Saint, literally, they're 1-0 going to a home opener in New England this time of year. Like, them might be fired up.
Yeah. Seattle's traveling, all of those things, but it's going to be one of those games where I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way. So, Jets at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Give us to us, Thags.
Yeah, so for the Jets side, wasn't a good game. Rodgers could have been better. Garrett Wilson and Hall are the offense, essentially. Lazard did have a good game on the stat sheet. I do think it was a little deceiving, if you ask me. He had 2 touchdowns, 89 yards. Titans, right? They played. I shouldn't say they played. The offense played awful, or the passing offense in Levis. It was the worst game he's ever
played. Amazing.
He's ever played in a Titan uniform. Yeah, our defense was. I mean, they couldn't have played almost any better, right? Yeah. They were getting pressure. They were getting turnovers. I mean, they can only, you throw them out there for so long, points are going to be given up. And not to mention, the 7 of them were a pick 6, right? So I felt bad for those guys because they really played their ass off. I think Tony Pollard, big bright spot. I think he looked really good, 82 yards and a touchdown. They were saying that they got to get Spears the ball more. That dynamic duo, right? I think it's got to go through them, and then Levis will, get the play action going and get the offense up the par. Now, I will say D-Hop's really didn't play. He only ran 24% of routes. He's still dealing with that injury, that knee injury. I'm going to double down and take my Titans. They're at home. The Jets just didn't look great on offense. I think our defense is enough to hold them off, and they gave up a lot of points to San Fran. I know San Fran, but still, I think there's holes there.
Yeah. Sorry, Diggs, I'm going against it.
That's fine. You were right last week too.
The reason why is the Jets defense didn't look too great that first game, but I think that they'll clean it up this second game. It's once again another team that I think that they're seeing a better of a matchup that they can go ahead and just get themselves back on the map and put
Yeah.
themselves back on the map.
Yeah.
Same with the offense.
Yeah.
I do think that Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he looked pretty freaking good those first couple drives. I mean, I would say that first quarter at least was pretty damn solid for Aaron. I mean, after that, I mean, he just couldn't do too much. I mean,
Yeah.
the Niners are just too good. I do think the Titans defense is good. You know, I mean, but I don't think that they're up there like San Fran.
Okay.
So that's where I think the Jets win. And I do think the Jets win by 2 scores in this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indy at Green Bay.
Indy at Green Bay. So Indy.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Actually,
no.
I'll take it back.
Love's
I don't
gone.
like this one.
Indy, they had a pretty good offensive day, even though they lost. Alec Pierce had some bombs.
Time out. Who the F is Alec Pierce?
Alec Pierce, he's a white receiver that they drafted like 2 years ago. There's been a lot of hype around him, and this week.
You know, I was pissed.
What?
I was pissed.
What were you pissed about?
Cause I'm like, yo, you got Michael Pittman. God damn it, use Michael Pittman.
So I'll say this, Michael.
No, listen, that was just me being. That was all a joke. Alec Pierce, he had himself a freaking game. Like,
Dude, he had two bombs. One was a touchdown. I mean, he's just another piece that people I don't think were adding to the equation that they have. I think he's legit. Yeah. He fits what they have. Adonai Mitchell looked great. Richardson missed him a few times. He could have had a huge day. Jonathan Taylor's back to being a workhorse, yep. Right? And then on the other side, so no Love, no shot at winning, if you ask me. Malik Willis, my boy, like he's going to be starting, but he's going to struggle. It's a solid defense on the other end there.
Shocked they're not starting Sean Clifford, to be honest with you.
They cut him, dude. They cut him because they brought in Willis.
All right, never mind.
Well. The top 4, I mean, so Dubes, Reed, Watson, and Kraft, and they're the main 4. It's hard to tell what's going to happen from here with Willis out there, so not much to say there. Obviously, I got Indianapolis getting their first dub this week.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Jay Love is out. Going to be out for a bit, so.
It's a shame.
No shocker here for me.
Yeah.
I'm going with Indy as well.
Yep.
Anthony Richardson looked so freaking good, though.
That one throw, holy shit.
That one throw was insane. It was traveled 65.5 yards in the air. Even Flacco, which Flacco is known to be a deep bomb-like thrower, he even said to him, he was like, that's the furthest ball I've ever seen thrown in my life. Like,
that was just,
it was
and it was pinpoint accurate.
Yeah.
It was like right on the dime.
Yep. And he was being
pressured. Yeah, he slipped, then pressure. Dude, it was insane. Yeah.
Beautiful game. So no, I got Indy in this one. I'm liking that team still. I continue to tell everybody that I think Shane Steichen is one of the best coaches in the league, and he's going to continue to show that to everybody. But continue, Anthony Richardson. You have Michael Pittman over there. Hi, Alec Pierce. Great game, but I hope it doesn't happen
Take
again.
a seat, pal.
I hope it doesn't happen again. At least not for a little while. Let me get Michael Pittman a little bit.
And he'll get there. Everything's there, just kind of like Terry McLaurin, people like that.
I was gonna say first week is always gonna be like that.
There's gonna be weird. There was
now
a lot.
Everybody knows Alec Pierce, and they're gonna be like, all right, we need to go ahead and keep an eye on this guy over here. Tampa Bay at Detroit.
This is gonna be a good one, I think.
This is
one I'm actually really looking forward to. It's at home at Detroit in the Dome. So on the other side, right? Elite day for Baker Mayfield. May have been the best quarterback to play in week 1, honestly. Godwin looks fantastic. 8 for 8, 83 yards, a touchdown. Evans, 6 for 5, or 6 targets, 5 catches, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns. So those two, week 1, they showed up. The best duo to do it right now in week 1. Some things to keep in mind: Bucky Irvin and Jalen McMillan, 2 rookies that look like they're going to have some immediate impact. McMillan was running a lot of 80-plus routes, and then Bucky Irvin, I mean, Rashad White didn't look great. I don't know. And then on the other side, Jamison Williams breakout game. Wow, he might be here. He
Yep.
might be here, and if that's the case, look the hell out,
Yeah.
because that team is going to be scary. He had 121 yards, 1 touchdown. He ran 97% of routes. Like, he's the two. Better days are coming from the other guys.
Of course.
You know, Laporta, Amonra, Monty and Gibbs did their thing. They picked up right where they left off last year. Monty, game-winning touchdown, and, you know, my boys, Detroit, I'm going with them.
Yeah. This is one of those games that I flip-flopped on.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on the limb on an early... Actually, no, not even out on the limb. We're going to do this, I think, every single week. I want to choose a game of the week, and this is my game of the week,
All right.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Tampa's defense is so damn good. They're so damn good.
Which is funny because they let a lot of people go too.
But they just know how to. I mean,
it's Todd Bowles is a
Todd Bowles. Yeah, he's a defensive-minded coach.
Yep.
They just have, I think, some type of continuity over there where, you know, they can go ahead and plug and play some players in there and figure it out, right? Goff barely used Amonra. I was actually very, very shocked. So I'm hoping that he obviously looks his way this game.
Right.
I'm going to say that talent wins this game, but I won't be shocked if Tampa Bay wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Detroit as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those other games where if, you know, Detroit wants to go ahead and solidify themselves and put themselves back on top. Yeah, they won game 1, but that game 1 was barely won. So
I think it's going to be like that again.
Back together. And I mean, you're playing at home. You better go out there and you better win this good. But like I said, I won't be shocked if Tampa Bay wins. So
yeah, it's gonna be that's definitely probably game of the week.
Agreed. Yeah. New Orleans at Dallas.
Yeah. So New Orleans. Derek Carr
heard me talking shit.
The complete opposite of what I thought he'd do.
Let's cheers to Derek.
Cheers to Derek, man. You got us. You got us.
This is for you.
You got us, boy.
And Justin, because Justin, you love Derek Carr.
He was probably creaming his jeans on Sunday to that.
You saw the debate in chat, the group chat?
No.
He was going off. Me and him were going back and forth, essentially, like talking about Derek Carr and how he was like, you got to go ahead and like give me a reason why he's trash. And I'm like, he's only had really one good season, which was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
And he's had literally several seasons where he's had double-digit picks.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's
just not a winner.
When I say trash, I say you are outside of the top 15 type quarterbacks, right? Top 5, elite. Top 10, great. Top 15, you're good.
Yeah, he's not in the
top 20, you're okay. If you're outside of that, you're trash. And he's literally ranked on so many lists at like 21, 22. Now, first week, obviously.
They play Carolina, right? Let's see what happens this week versus Dallas. I'll say their defense is probably legit. They're always good. They look good last week. I'll say that. Olave, disappointing game from him. Carr did everything but go to him, like he always does.
Yep.
Kamara looked awesome, but his snap counts and stuff is a little worrisome. And then on the other side, Elliott and Dowdle, it's a timeshare. Money talks, right? Lamb and Dak, they had a solid game last week. I think they get the win in Dallas versus New Orleans this week.
Yeah, DC here, like I said, he heard me talking ish, so he went off that first week. But I'm not buying into the stock. I'm selling all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm waving my cowboy hat in the air. So, how about them Cowboys? Let me take a sip.
Yeah, you need to. Wash that taste down in your mouth, huh?
I can't believe I said that. That's disgusting. No, yeah, I think Dallas wins this one. So, Rams at Arizona.
Yeah. So for the Rams, bad news. Puka's on IR. He's out at least 4 games. Good news. Cooper Kupp is back. Oh my God. 100% of routes, 21 targets, 14 catches, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. He's so back. Kyron Williams, he's the lead back. Everyone was saying Blake Corum. He might be a threat. He didn't even get into the game. He didn't even put his helmet on.
Yeah.
So that's clearly not happening, at least for a while.
Yep.
And then on the other side, they looked good early, Arizona. They kind of put it down on Buffalo, but then they came out flat in the second half, which they're notorious for. Disappointing debut for Harrison. He ran 95% of routes, so I mean, like, the opportunities there. I know he got missed on at the end of the game, too, that could have made his day. And with McBride, too, he's another one. He was running all the routes. Like, he's fine. Don't worry about him in fantasy. He's going to be okay. James Conner, he's still a feature back. I thought Benson was going to, like, he's not a problem right now.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw out of Arizona, and I do think with Puka out, the firepower might not be enough with those other receivers that they have. I'm going to take Arizona at home.
So I'm right there with you. Arizona is a sneaky team. Gannon, I think he's able to go ahead and
He's doing a solid job.
He's doing a solid job, as much as I don't like him at all. Puka's out, which obviously that hurts the Rams. Productivity is probably going to be not as great this week. Cards, they definitely need to use Marvin Harrison Jr. a little bit more, though. I think that there has to be some more design plays that you need to use him. He's too good to just be listed out there, or just be running out there just like a decoy, or just freaking like
That's basically what he's doing. Wind sprints.
Yeah. This will be a tight game though. But I think the Cardinals win it.
Yep, I agree with all that.
Pittsburgh at Denver.
Yeah, so this is probably going to be a sloppy one, just like it was for Pittsburgh last week. Fields did just enough, right? So I'm happy for him. They got a win. I was going to determine if he was going to keep starting or not, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for him. So the hard part's over right now. Warren, he was definitely eased back from his injury. He only played 31% of snaps, so I expect him to have more of an uptick.
Right.
George Pickens, I think, looked very good. I like what I saw as him. Just needs more.
Yeah.
Again, more. On the other side, I don't think Bo Nix is good. I know he made some athletic plays and things like that, but from a quarterback standpoint, I didn't love what I saw personally. They're not playing guys like Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin, which is their speed on the outside, so I don't understand what Sean Payton. I know your feelings on Sean Payton. And then Aldrich Esteem, their rookie running back, he's going on IR right now. That being said, I got Pittsburgh winning another sloppy one.
Yeah, Fields is a starter. Shocker. I think everybody. I was telling everybody, I'm like, I really think that Russ was just like, Fields should be the starter, and that's why he had the microphone.
Oh my
on,
God,
so
he was dressed.
I'm like,
when he was like literally, I'm like, oh my fuck, ruled out, and he's dressed in pads. I'm like, you are crazy, dude.
A little annoying, in my opinion. I think he's just a diva. Pittsburgh. Now, they have a great defense. Their defense is so freaking good.
Curtains back, baby.
Yeah, I mean, Joey Porter's such a great D-back. You have, obviously, Watt that's over there killing it still. And
that prediction of Defensive Player of the Year, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
That was a good showing right there.
Now, this is a game. I won't be shocked if it goes either way.
I know.
This is another one where I'm like, I'm picking Pittsburgh. But if Denver wins, I'm not going to be so surprised.
I'm with you.
So, I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one. I just think that hopefully that Mike Tomlin can go ahead.
I'll coach Payton a little
bit. Yeah, and really, the only reason why I think that Denver has a chance of winning is obviously elevation. I mean,
Tomlin has a stat.
I don't know how much of that makes a difference, but who knows?
I meant to look at Tomlin has a stat versus rookie quarterbacks. Essentially, he's only lost 6 times. So, yeah. You know how long he's been in the league. So.
Yeah. So we got Cincy at Kansas City.
So normally I would think this would be potentially the game of the week, but I'm a little worried about Cincinnati right now early on. I think they're up to the same old stuff, right? First couple weeks, they come out flat. So Burrow kind of looks like maybe he's not 100%. I'm not sure. It was a bad game. Higgins might miss again.
Yeah.
He's hurt. Good news is I think Chase looked pretty good, all things considered. I think he did solid. I mean, the offense wasn't good, but I think he looked good. Moss is definitely the lead back right now over Chase Brown. I'm curious about how that shakes up in a different script.
Yeah.
On the other side, Kansas City looks phenomenal. I mean, Rashee Rice is an elite. I think he's a receiver one. Worthy looks like he was shot out of a cannon. They basically got Tyreek Hill back like in time. Isaiah Pacheco looked okay. He's the workhorse. He definitely has a good role, but he wasn't very efficient. Kelsey was barely even used. He ran 87% routes, so think about it. Okay, then they plan to take out these other speed guys. Kelsey's just going to rip it up. So they're scary. They could very well be back in the Super Bowl, and I think that they might put a beating down on Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincy, I'm pouring one out for you. Just gonna do a little small. That's just that. That's it. You don't deserve much. I'm not gonna also waste alcohol.
Yeah.
Cincy, I'm very, very disappointed on how they started off this season. I mean, like I was not expecting that flat of a game from them. They honestly, I hate the all orange jerseys. That they look like a bunch of orange Tic Tacs running around out there. Like, I'm annoyed. Now, KC is elite. They're insane. I know Isaiah Pacheco didn't have an efficient game, but man, the way he runs, it looks like it hurts.
He puts out 110% effort
on
every snap. Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, I have him starting in my league now because of the fact of like I saw that and I was like, all right, that's enough. That's enough for me to go ahead and now put you in. KC's too good. KC wins this one. It's not even. I don't think it's even close. Personally, I think that they rout them.
I do too. Kansas City defense too is looking solid too. I mean,
yeah,
they did a good job of containing Lamar. Think about it. I mean, like I know he had that's just my opinion.
Lamar's always going to have his rushing games,
right?
But yeah, no, I definitely get that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or I get that. Chicago at Houston.
Yeah, so Chicago, they beat my boys. Caleb Williams didn't look good. He didn't. I mean, so far between him and Jaden Daniels, Daniels looked better. Yeah, the defense pretty much kept them in it, won them the game, pick 6. The good news is their top 3 receivers, right? Allen, O'Dunes, and Moore. Great peripherals. They're running all the routes you want them to run, right? Something to monitor on the tight end side. Everett ran more routes than Kmet, so Everett might be the tight end one, at least from a passing standpoint, 62% to 32. And then the role for DeAndre Swift's good. He's the guy.
Yep.
Then from Houston, even though Tank Dell, he didn't have a huge stat sheet, but he had 105 air yards, meaning they were trying to give him the ball. He is exactly what we thought. He's going to reap the benefits of having Diggs and Nico there, and they're going to deal with the more double type of coverage, which Nico had 117 yards. He did fine, right?
Yeah,
so eventually, Dell's going to have those boom games. Wow, Mixon looked phenomenal. I mean, he got the ball 30 times, 159 yards, touchdowns. I mean, this is a rejuvenation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's back.
Yeah.
I feel it. So it's going to be one of those teams that someone different does it every game like we thought, and it's going to happen in this game too. They're going to beat Chicago.
Houston, you know how I feel about Houston. That team has a special place in my heart. I love that team, and very excited to, see what they do this season. Of course, I don't need them taking out my boys, but I will root for them. Chicago is going to be exciting.
I agree.
I know that Caleb didn't have that great of an outing, but Odunze looks good. Keenan Allen, he had some bright spots over there. DJ Moore is going to get his day as well. So I feel like they're gonna be fine. I didn't believe in Caleb Williams before, but I do now. I do think that
I do too.
He's going to be a good enough quarterback for them.
Titans' defense is a good defense, and I really think when the year goes on, they're going to be, if they stay healthy, they're going to be in the conversation of top 5, top 8, and I think that's a tough defense to start your debut on.
Yeah, and I mean this is going to be another one because Houston's defense isn't like anybody to look over either.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that Houston is too much for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, I have it here as well that he's not on my bets, but I do have Tank getting his TD in this game.
Yeah.
So
he gets his.
Mm-hmm. Last game of the week.
Yeah.
Monday night.
Monday night.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
At Philadelphia.
God, the NFL is so cruel to Kirk Cousins. They're so cruel to him. They do this every time. They're like, let's find a Sunday and Monday night game and throw him in Philly.
Or throw him against Philly. Yeah, he doesn't do well. And this is gonna be fun.
Go ahead, take it away. Take it away.
So the Dirty Birds. The Dirty Birds come to Philly. Yeah, I mean Kirk never does well against us. I don't think anything changes with this game. Saquon had himself a day. Had himself a hell of a day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, that's obviously not something that I think is going to continue, but I do think that he will. He's still just gonna shine so freaking bright.
Yeah.
As long as he's running healthy and he's behind that offensive line, he's gonna be good. Yeah, home opener Monday night.
Yeah.
And Kelsey is back in town.
It's gonna be electric.
I mean, Kelsey's obviously he's there every single day,
right.
But this is like Kelsey back in town with
for
Monday
the first
night
time
opener.
Yeah.
I have Philly going off. One thing that I was really, really wanting was in that first game, I wanted them to at least score like 30 plus points. Kellen Moore as that offensive coordinator, it's beautiful. I think
he settled in.
Yeah, that first game, I still think that there were some things that they didn't show, right?
Right.
But
it's gonna
continue.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna see Devontae having himself a day. You had both Saquon and AJ having over 100 yards, and Devontae had 87 yards, damn near.
They had a nice offensive day.
This offense is gonna be so good. I'm happy with Nakobe Dean, how he played. I mean, even Zach Bond, Zach Bond went ahead and had himself a game.
He balled out, man.
Yeah, he balled the hell out.
Yeah.
The DBs do need to go ahead and get themselves back together. I think that we addressed that position so much this offseason that it's a shame that they didn't play better to go ahead and put themselves in a better conversation. I do love Quinyon. I think Quinyon is
he's legit.
He's built for this.
He had a pretty good debut. Yeah.
I saw the way that he went and he got inside of Christian Watson's face, and I was like, hell yeah, that's what I want to see. And I also think that Quinyon's going to benefit from having C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He's going to be able to have his coaching and his guidance, and also obviously Slay is going to continue having him under his wing. So,
right.
No, yeah, I got Philly. I got Philly winning 34-21.
Yeah, no, I got Philly too. I mean, look, it's not only are you putting Kirk Cousins in Philly, but you're putting him on a primetime game. He doesn't particularly do well in either situation. I think it's another rough start for Atlanta. I mean, the good news for them, Pitts, London, and Robinson, they're no longer under the Arthur Smith curse. They all had the routes and the playing time that you want them to have. Yeah. So that's the good news.
Yeah.
Bad news is Kirk Cousins had a lot of turnovers last week. I think it could happen again this week. So I don't think this is the game you guys find your way yet. The only reason they hang in is because I do think Atlanta's defense is good, and if they do somehow give you guys trouble, maybe hold you up or something like that, but your offense looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
After that first drive or so, right, you guys settled in. Barkley's going to be key. He's going to open up the gates for everyone. I mean, you guys are kind of falling into the Houston type of thing. I mean, it can be a different person every game.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's a pretty easy win for them.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say 34?
34-21.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 31-10, like something like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Eagles go 2-0.
There we go. All right, so let's move on to the bets.
Yeah. What do you got for us?
So I was inspired by Boston Connor from the Pat McAfee show. My guy went ahead and he placed a bet for the Alabama game, and he went ahead and hit for $350, and then essentially put that money onto a 7-leg anytime touchdown parlay. $350 for $58,001.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I'm inspired. Not inspired to go ahead and put $350 on it. I'm inspired to make smaller legs.
Okay.
So
What you got? What you got?
I have myself a 5-leg parlay.
Okay.
And actually, going back actually to last week, I made the mistake of not placing the bet. So I don't even know how that bet did. But me and Ronnie are actually placing a bet. We're going in on this one. So, anytime touchdown. First player that I have here, Mr. Consistent strikes again, Mr. Tyreek Hill.
Okay. Love it.
I think it's going to be a great game against Buffalo at home.
Yep.
He's going to have himself a great
secondary is vulnerable. Yep.
Yeah, very much so.
Yep.
I hate to say it with this one, but I think the system is back in his favor, and I'm going with Zeke. I think Zeke gets a tutty.
Okay.
It's
He didn't look half bad, honestly. He had
Yeah.
some nice runs.
I think that they're gonna obviously use him situationally,
Mm-hmm.
and I think if in the red zone that they're gonna definitely have him bulldoze in there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 I have is Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
No shock with that one. I think Deebo has himself another game as well. You know, especially if they don't use Mason as much, because obviously Mason's gonna have a lot of eyes on him now.
Right.
And then you're obviously gonna see Brandon Ayuk a little bit more. So I think Deebo definitely gets himself in there.
I love it.
This one was almost like a gimme. It's gonna be like a I hope at least that's gonna be like a present. J.K. Dobbins. Carolina has no place in the NFL, so I think J.K. has himself a day against Carolina.
Yeah. Okay.
And then my last one, your boy, Tony P.
Tony P.
Tony P. So the reason why is because of the Jets did not do well against the run defense last week.
That's an understatement.
That was like very, very bad.
Yeah.
I do think that they have good DBs. I don't think that they have that great of a front seven. I think Tony Pollard gets himself in the touchdown or gets in the end zone at least some point in this game.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I put everything together. The odds are plus 3,632.
Okay.
So if you put 25 down, $933. Me and Ronnie are putting down $25 each, and it is $2,200. So,
God,
hoping that everything works out in my favor and that this pays out, and then we can all celebrate next week on the next episode.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you. Honestly,
if you want to get in on it, let me know.
I really.
We can talk.
There's some good ones.
We can throw an extra 25 on that thing.
I'll tell you what.
It's looking like.
I'll tell you what. If Hill don't hit, and you guys have to, I'll help reroute on a second card.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because he plays Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the deal.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, moving on. We got ourselves the fantasy segment with our guy decks.
So some fantasy nuggets. I know some stuff I try to flurry in there through our discussion. So number one I have here is some tight end numbers here. And the reason I did that is because it was such a woeful tight end week one. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there probably panicking a little bit. Like I invested in this guy, that guy, this.
Yeah.
And there's 5 guys on here that really just didn't, -1, didn't have great days. And these are great numbers. So tight end leaders in separation, meaning they were open, right? They should have gotten the ball. Trey McBride, number 1, 22.6% of the time. Mark Andrews, 19.4% of the time. Kyle Pitts, 15% of the time. He had a solid day, right? Brock Bowers, 14.3%, and then Travis Kelce, 13.6%.
Yeah.
I think that's all company that we can all agree were high invested tight ends.
Right.
Do not panic.
Yeah.
They're going to have their days.
Yep, I agree.
Number 2, so with Puka out, right? I mean, I know it's early in the season, so you don't have tons of people necessarily hurt on your rosters, but if you need a replacement at all, someone just to stash on the bench for a little bit, Tyler Johnson had a solid game in his absence, seems to be the replacement in his type of role. 65% of routes, 7 total targets, so like maybe in a deeper flex type of play, okay? Number 3 point, Tucker Kraft, tight end on the Green Bay Packers, ran 81% of routes. He is the tight end 1. It is not Luke Musgrave like we thought. Luke Musgrave was a high invested draft pick for them. I thought, based on some...
They did run them both out there, so a lot.
So, but the 81% was drastically different than Luke's. It's just Kraft, I think, is the guy.
Yeah.
So if he's out there and you need a tight end, I think he could be an option just for pure usage standpoint. Ramondre Stevenson. I know we talked about him. He had a great game. 78% of snaps, 72 routes. So he's out there the whole time. He had 28 total touches. I think the stat, though, he had 10 total missed tackles. So he could be back. I know last year he had kind of an off year. I think this week versus Seattle is going to be a big test because they did a good job versus the Broncos running back. So I'm curious to see. But he's a guy to think about. Maybe try to get him on your team if you need a running back or something like that, right? And then last, I got Justice Hill, like I was saying. He has a nice role. It's a role. It's not just a one-game type of thing. 55% of routes. He outsnapped Henry 54-46. So another one, if he's out there, need a plug-and-play type of guy, he's someone I think you should consider.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that Harbaugh said that they're not planning to run
DH
30
a lot,
times out there. So we'll see. I mean, how that team does with that.
Justice Hill's been there for a while.
DH is like a certain type of runner where he needs to, like an extra,
momentum.
He needs like 3 yards to go ahead and get himself going. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I am very, very excited for week 2 though.
I am
Football
too.
is back, and
It's
we got some good things coming up.
We do. No.
Everybody, stay tuned to this episode as, like I said, it'll be out on Thursday morning. And if you're listening, appreciate you. Place a bet, do whatever you need to do, and while you're at it, on Sunday, if you ain't doing anything, go ahead and sack and crack a cold.
Crack a cold one. Cheers, buddy.
Oh shit, my leg's asleep. Fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh shit. That shit almost buckled.